English translation, Nokodemion, and the Sevenfold series of prophets, or On the Relativity of Time by Hans-Georg Lanzendorfer, Switzerland.
Nokodemion. This name of great significance currently accompanies us in several writings. With the revelation of the secrets, connections, and background of this name, the mission of the Figu has once again reached a certain climax. The current development in these matters has provided highly interesting and new insights, even for the extraterrestrial Pleiaren and the members of their federation. Once again, the new revelations concerning the prophet Nokodemion show that the mission of the Figu and the unique appearance of Billy are not simply the contacts of an Earth's humanity with extraterrestrial intelligences. The fact of an official encounter with human beings from foreign worlds and planets is and would be absolutely unique for this Earth planet. In fact, the facts and backgrounds about the Figu and the contact man, Billy Edward Albert Meyer, are many times more extensive than previously assumed. The true facts are an unimaginably complex, difficult to comprehend, and unique event, even for the mind and consciousness of a modern human being who walks this earth with an open mind and free of prejudice. To understand and comprehend the actual motives, his universe-wide mission, and the evolutionary task of the prophet Nokodemion is also very challenging from a cosmic point of view for a human being who is Earth foreigners. Even for the more highly developed minds and consciousness of extraterrestrial intelligences and their trained ability to recognize and understand the cosmic connections more quickly and profoundly, the facts about Nokodemion and his origin and work represent a very great cognitive and epistemological challenge and achievement, especially for human beings on Earth who are ignorant of creative matters. On our planet, we live in community with a very consumer-orientated, religious and materialistic humanity. Their thoughts and actions are based on a very multi-cult religious and sectarian foundation of blind faith in gods, submission to fate, humility, and obedience. Numerous cult religions, modern esotericism, parapsychology, and blind faith, cult religious and esoteric sectarianism of all shades characterize the thinking, emotional life, and consciousness of Earth's humanity. In ideological and philosophical matters, it has therefore been very disorientated for millennia and without true, evolutionarily valuable or psyche and consciousness-forming knowledge. The true philosophy of creation, or spiritual teaching, is still disregarded by the majority of Earth's humanity as a result of their blindness and ignorance. The teachings and instructions on the creative laws and commandments are wrongly criticized and rejected as sectarian teachings of a new religion. Since 1975 in Hinwil ZH, Billy Edward Albert Meyer has been in the public eye, and for over 3 decades, from 7th of April 1977, the location, Simjase, Silver Star Center, hinter Schmidruti, 8495 Schmidruti ZH in Switzerland, has been world famous for the unique teachings, the statements, reports, and explanations of Billy Edward Albert Meyer regarding his numerous physical and telepathic contacts with extraterrestrial human beings. Interested, sincere, searching and researching human beings honor and respect him for his decades of perseverance, his unparalleled patience, and his valuable work. They do not erect an ideological and dogmatic monument to him in this instructive and meaningful place, nor do they invent or establish any cults of personality or veneration in honor of his unique life's work. A work that does not place his own person as the true prophet, but the creative laws, commandments, and principles, and thus creation, that is to say, universal consciousness, at the center of all attention. Numerous unteachable antagonists and other opponents, on the other hand, continue to cling to a few pictures forged by foreign hands, manipulated photographs, deliberately invented rumors, and unprovable and untenable insinuations. They vehemently try to drag the mission and the very complex task of Billy, which is incomprehensible to their small-minded minds, into the mud with mendaciously constructed trifles, and present his contact case to the public as a lie and fraud. On closer inspection, Gu's superficial hook, so-called ufology, is basically just a tasty side dish of a prophetic task and heraldic mission that has been going on for billions of years. It is an extraordinary mission without any cult religious or divine ideological background. The effective comprehension and real understanding of this ancient prophetic task and mission of Nokodemion is, or would be, a cognitive and conscious feat for the Earth's humanity of the present day. This is also primarily because Nokodemion's teaching does not deal with conventional cult religious matters, but even condemns and criticizes their divine heresies and supposedly fate-determining powers to the highest degree. This fact alone contradicts the cult religious habits and views of Earth's humanity as it has known them for thousands of years. In their faith and ignorance, the majority of human beings on Earth still tend to explain their largely unresolved questions about the mysteries of life, death, and decay with the reasoning of divine powers and might. This illogical behavior as a sign of human helplessness can even be observed in human beings who are ostensibly unbelievers in cult religion, especially when they find themselves in serious or life-threatening situations such as danger, accidents, illness, difficulties, or misfortune, as well as when they wish to come before the altar of their respective cult religion for a marriage or the baptism of their children. The separation and detachment from religions or from modern esoteric pseudo-wisdom and all their false explanations is not easy for the Earth humans. Ufology, as a material-conscious, sensational product, is therefore easier for present-day humans and their dazzled and materialistic-oriented minds to grasp than the concerns of religious criticism and the complex connections surrounding the prophet Nokodemion and his subsequent personalities. By revealing the background information about the series of 7 earthly prophet personalities of Nokodemion, who appeared on this earth in later times, namely as first Enoch, the 1st of January 938 BC to 3rd February 8942 BC, 2nd Eliah 5th February 891 BC to 4th June 780 BC, 3rd Josiah 7th February 772 BC to 5th May 690 BC, 4th Jeremiah 9th of February 662 BC to 3rd September 580 BC, 5th Emmanuel 3rd February Silkins BC to 9th May 111 AD, as well as 6th Muhammad 19th of February 571 AD to 8th June 632 AD, the prophetic mission and the task of Billy as the last 7th prophet, as well as the inconspicuous location of Hinterschmidruti as the seat of the Phi-Gu Association, have been completely illuminated in a new light. Since then, ufology has only served as a starting point for interested people to engage with the topics of extraterrestrials, the case of Billy Edward Albert Meyer, spiritual teaching, and the Phi-Gu Association. With each new explanation and new insight into Nokodemion's extraordinary concerns and secrets, numerous further questions arise that seek an answer. In fact, new, unimagined horizons and cosmic connections about the universal scope and importance of the small village of Schmidruti in the Terce Valley of the Zurich Oberland are once again opening up and revealing themselves to those interested. Tentatively and with the utmost caution, the gateway to a mysterious and bygone world was opened to Earth's humanity. It is a glimpse into past worlds and eras, which nevertheless have a powerful influence on our present. The timing of this was not chosen at random, but also has to do with the gradual growth of human intellectual thought and reason. Even if the authoritative and progressive human beings with an open mind are only a small group of human beings which can be calculated at a few thousand people worldwide. We cautiously dare to peer through the small gap into the prophetic past of billions of Earth years, without also having the slightest idea of what lies behind the wide-open gate. At the beginning of Billy Edward Albert Meyer's open appearance in the 1970s, its mission and task seemed to the public to be limited to contacts with human beings from foreign worlds and planets. The importance and purpose of his contacts lay primarily in educating and informing Earth's humanity about the concerns of diverse extraterrestrial life in the vastness of space. The first contact reports were followed by spiritual teachings. However, the members of the Phi-Gu only slowly became aware of the true vastness, size, and scope of the mission, because it was only through years of learning that the full scope of Billy's immense task and the teaching of the truth, teaching of the spirit, teaching of the life, crystallized for them. Through numerous instructive writings and books, as well as oral explanations, his mission was constantly expanded, and Earth's humanity was brought closer to the creative laws and commandments. The increasing number of his books, which now number around 45, many brochures, articles, pamphlets, and numerous information leaflets, gradually gave an idea of the true scope of his mission over the course of time. With the explanations of the series of prophets of the 7 authoritative earthly heralds, that is to say, prophets, a further circle of enlightenment was closed. With the publication of the books Goblet of the Truth and the interpretative explanation of the background in the book Nokodemion, the veil of the prehistoric origin of the spirit form of the 7th herald, Billy, was only lifted in 2008. In all the modesty of his humanity, the epics of his work, and the wanderings of his spirit form through space and time, as well as through various personalities, are shown in a context of billions of years. However, the presence of Billy Edward Albert Meyer also suddenly placed the role of this small Earth planet at the center of a certain cosmic development. From a carnal, physical point of view, we Earth humans only live for a few decades, as we are only slowly approaching a life expectancy of 100 years. For the majority of human beings, these few years of life are the only binding values, as they also represent the fear of their own death and transience as the threatening center of their existence. Numerous human beings also doubt a creative life after death or the life of death. The rebirth of a creative spirit form is not within the realm of their cult religious thinking, and the billions of years of creative existence are pure theory for them. However, with the current explanations of Nokodemion's historical background, people are suddenly confronted with a development that has existed for billions of years, is related to a single contemporary human being, and has its conclusion in the earthly present. It is the story of a single and unique human being, that is to say, his spirit form, which has played an important role in the evolution of numerous humanities in this universe for around 96 billion Earth years across several universe renewals, which take place every 49 billion years. The universal importance of a single human being in the fulfillment of a prophetic mission alone is highly incomprehensible and incomprehensible to the majority of human beings on Earth. This is also primarily because the issues surrounding Nokodemion involve such an unimaginably long period of billions of years, far exceeding what earthly science determines as the age of our universe, which they erroneously estimate to be only around 13 billion Earth years, although in terms of the material belt, according to Playar and data, it is now, after the last renewal, 17 billion years old. This, while the entire creation universe, with the other 6 immaterial belts, already has an age of around 46 trillion years, and will reach a total age of 311 trillion and 40 billion years, with expansion and contraction each amounting to 155.5 trillion years. After that, creation, that is to say, the universe falls into a slumber and renews itself to form a new universe, that is to say, a new creation, the primordial creation. Archaeology dates fossils and dinosaur bones over a period of approx. 60 to 220 million years. From a geoscientific point of view, the higher human cultures and civilizations are given as approx. 5 to 12 millennia. According to scientists, the ancient period of human history lasted from around 2.5 million to 12,000 or 8,000 years BC, and, according to earthly scientific explanations, represents the largest part of what has been known about human beings since time immemorial. However, the Pleiadians speak of 6 or 12 billion years. But either way, mathematically speaking, Nokodemion's spirit form is therefore around 30,400 times older than the official history of our earthly humanity. In the context of Nokodemion's story, time suddenly becomes an extremely relative factor. She is a healer of wounds, makes their scars disappear superficially, but is also the mother of all patient teaching and serenity. In this way, human beings are organized into the laws of their own becoming and passing, and into the transience of all existence. Their own short life becomes the measure of all things, and the eternity of the past and future becomes a theoretical value. Thus, Nokodemion's spirit form has already existed around 20 times longer than our earthly world, with its approximately 5 billion years, is a solid planetary body. And so, billions of Earth years pass by human beings on this planet like rapidly drifting rain clouds in the sky. It is only in recent modern times that unmanned space travel has enabled Earth's humanity to stretch out its hands in the form of probes in search of Earth's satellite and the nearest planets in its own solar system. The countless secrets of universal space, with its worlds, suns and galaxies, are still completely unknown to human beings. Nevertheless, he is currently confronted with the contemporary presence of an earthly human being of universal uniqueness and cosmic significance. It is the existence of a human being whose spirit form has been wandering for billions of years through the galaxies, solar systems, worlds, and through several renewals of the material universe belt visible to astronomers in order, in self-imposed duty, to teach and instruct their numerous civilizations and peoples in the teaching of the Spirit. This fact is unimaginable and overwhelming for simple human beings on Earth who are sometimes blinded by cult religion, especially for those human beings in whose ideas and philosophies of life only the current life is of importance, and in whose mindset no higher creative principles and laws are taken into account, but as a rule, only religious, sectarian, ideological, philosophical, and political views and beliefs. The human being is a very forgetful creature. Even remembering the events of past days or hours can cause him great difficulty. With the passing of time and the passing of the years, his conscious memories also fade. For an Earth human who is ignorant and unfamiliar with the Figu, the legitimate question naturally arises as to how it can be possible to suddenly describe events that have taken place over a period of billions of years and have also been recorded. Earth's humanity's existence in a fleshly body is, as already mentioned, only of short duration with its few decades. To put this short sojourn into context, with the billions of years of Nokodemion's existence is a very high demand in terms of consciousness and understanding for many human beings. Even for trained minds and those interested in Figu, this is a very considerable notion. The existence of a prophetic mission lasting billions of years seems inconceivable to many Earth's humanity of the modern age, as does the possibility of controlling, maintaining, and directing the events around Nokodemion through a higher spiritual level and authority such as Arahat Athasata. Through the facts surrounding Nokodemion, numerous human beings are also confronted for the first time with the existence of spirit planes such as Arahat Athasata or Patah Li. However, neither the Arahat Athasata nor Patah Li levels are in any wise connected with cult religious ideas and beliefs or with esotericism. The Arahat Athasata level, as Nokodemion's level of origin, is responsible for controlling and supervising the prophetic mission. It controls and supervises the heraldic mission of the prophet of modern times, his predecessors, and the work of the Figu. It is the controlling force with regard to the fulfillment of the primordially set provisions as well as the history, task, and mission of Nokodemion. Human memory alone would have caused Nokodemion's mission to be forgotten after just a few centuries. According to the still unpublished 2009 contact number 465 of Wednesday, 7 May 2008, Nokodemion's mission is based on a creative law. These interesting events and concerns clearly show that the creation of human beings created by the universal creation is not an arbitrary phenomenon of chance, as was claimed years ago or even today by earthly scientists, and still is. It is therefore, as taught by the spiritual teachings and the extraterrestrials, a conscious life form that has come into being according to certain creative laws, and that should act and learn according to the creative laws and commandments in order to fulfill the evolution of consciousness. For the mind and Earth's humanity's current level of consciousness, the existence of creation lies in an unimaginably high temporal and spatial expansion. The enormous creative dimensions and principles are hardly comprehensible in their complexity, even for human beings with a very high level of consciousness. As long as human beings move in their material and carnal bodily world, all the creative dimensions can be sensed in their full grandeur and sublimity, but can never be fully grasped by human consciousness and intellectual thinking. The various forms and levels of consciousness are still very mysterious to human beings. This is why they are also not yet able to distinguish between their material and spiritual levels of consciousness. The reincarnating spirit form, or the reincarnating spiritual ego, or the tiny creative part that animates human beings and evolves them in terms of knowledge and wisdom, is still completely unknown to the majority of human beings on Earth. For this reason, it is hardly possible for the present-day Earth's humanity, which is ignorant in matters of consciousness and preoccupied with cult religion, to fully grasp Nokodemion's mission for centuries to come. Although we are living in an interesting, exciting, and memorable modern age, in which the first beginnings and seeds are being sown for the positive development and evolution of human consciousness. The path to the goal is long and arduous. Billy Edward Albert Meyer. Spiritual teachings provide great services here, the true value of which will unfortunately only be recognized hundreds of years from now. Today, the sowing of the knowledge of the spiritual teachings through the teachings of the prophet in terms of consciousness is only the beginning, and according to the Play-Aaron, the first fruits will not be harvested in a tangible way for at least another 800 years. Since the 1940s, we have been living in the prophesied time of cold hearts. With its warlike, political and cult-religious turmoil, philosophical and ideological contradictions, as well as social and societal disharmony. The earthly present of modern times stands in stark contrast to billions of years of creation-orientated spiritual teachings. This often very strenuous balancing act between everyday life on Earth and the study and knowledge of spiritual teachings, and the peaceful existence of extraterrestrial visitors, is a discrepancy that is particularly noticeable for the many human beings who are close to Fi-Gu. They are the ones who try to combine both worlds in their earthly lives. Dealing with and connecting these very contrasting worlds often requires a very tactful sensitivity between sensible silence and conscious public behavior. The open-minded human beings in the inner and outer circles in and around the Fi-Gu are often very challenged to harmonize these two opposing worlds in their own lives, but to do so without resenting the obtuseness and unreasonableness of Earth's humanity or despairing of the earthly lack of understanding for the real truth. Human beings react to Nokodemion's ancient teaching and to Billy's spiritual teachings in the most varied of wise ways. Founded in its actual value by Nokodemion and taught to human beings for billions of years by the later prophets, it is now being taught on Earth for the 7th time and is available for the first time in written form, printed on white paper, as around 400 bound and stapled teaching letters in A4 format, with an average of 55 pages and in an unprecedented volume in the form of no less than 45 books, numerous brochures, and a very large number of articles. And indeed, no prophet or wise person has ever before brought, taught, and written down the teachings of the Spirit to this immeasurable extent. As unimaginable and even unbelievable as the fact may sound to many Earth humans, the teaching of the Spirit is an ancient doctrine relating to the creative laws and commandments, summarized as the teaching of truth, the teaching of the Spirit, the teaching of life, which was taught billions of years ago and spread among many peoples in the universe, even at a time when the globe did not exist for billions of years as a solid body, but as a gaseous mass, and consequently also did not support human life. The extensive new book, Goblet of the Truth, which Billy wrote in just 5.5 months, as well as the background information on the prophet Nokodemion, once again clearly point to the remarkable contrasts between the different worlds that collide on our Earth planet in the present modern age. Numerous earthly cult religions, beliefs, philosophical explanations, and the most diverse ideologies and ways of thinking of Earth humans are challenged and put in their place by the immense power of Nokodemion's ancient, truthful, and creative teaching. The teaching of the Spirit is the truest and most valuable evolutionary treasure that will have to be rediscovered over many centuries to come. Neither gold nor precious stones, silvers and jewelry, nor the entire wealth of this world can be compared with the high creative evolutionary values and insights from the teachings of the Spirit for the formation of consciousness, the psyche, and emotional life. The clash between the modern world and past eras could not be more different and contradictory. For billions of years, the teachings of Nokodemion have lain dormant in the memory banks, only to finally find their way back into these modern spheres through the current prophetic mission and work of Billy Edward Albert Meyer. The teaching or history of Nokodemion throws billions of years around as if they were ours. The way we deal with time is suddenly relativized. The understanding of one's own becoming and transience, personal existence, and one's own humanity find new forms, insights, and ways of looking at things. One's own importance disappears in the seemingly timeless billions of years and aeons to nothingness. Personal problems and difficulties of everyday earthly life and supposedly existential meanings lose their overvaluation. The history and context surrounding Nokodemion also teach us to recognize the importance of the small and smallest aspects of our own existence, and yet to approach life with a certain serenity and awareness of the necessary responsibility. We live on the edge of our galaxy on a very remote little blue Earth planet. Without also having the slightest inkling of this fact, Earth's humanity is in no way aware of its unique situation and the role of its planet. His uniqueness is not due to the special location of his solar system or the beauty and uniqueness of his marvelous planet. Rather, the uniqueness and unique role of his planet is based on the presence of an extraordinary human being. It is the contemporary presence of a true prophet of creation and son of the Arahat Athasata plane, who has indeed fulfilled and continues to fulfill a unique and meaningful duty in the evolution of numerous worlds and planets and their humanities and civilizations over billions of years. Undoubtedly, this statement will be interpreted by the majority of human beings on this planet as an erroneous and arrogant claim of megalomaniacal servitude and blind worship of Billy. However, in its illogicality, nonsensicality, ignorance, and failure to recognize the real truth according to the current level of consciousness and knowledge of Earth's humanity, this insinuation is in a wise way quite understandable. Not because the aforementioned accusation of antagonists, esoterics, religious believers, know-it-alls and evil critics, etc., could be based on a truth, but because Earth's humanity has simply not been able to understand and grasp the actual truth about the background and facts concerning Nokodemion's personality and his subsequent line of prophets for several centuries. However, this circumstance must not be held against the still cult-religiously influenced Earth's humanity of the present day in a judgmental way, but must be viewed with a certain insight into his situation and with due respect. Insight into the creative order and the values of spiritual teachings requires a very long process of learning. Insights, realizations, and further training of consciousness. However, this learning process has only begun in a very small number of Earth humans. The majority of Earth's humanity is still without any true knowledge of the creative cosmic laws. It also still lacks non-religious insights and teachings about the secrets and the meaning and purpose of human life. But the evolutionary seed of modern times is largely sown and nourished with the teaching of the true prophet. This new situation requires Earth's humanity to rethink on an unimagined scale, and to an extent that it has probably never encountered before in the history of mankind, and with such consistency. For the human mind, the dimensions of the creative cosmic universe are of infinite, that is to say, endless size and expansion. It is therefore also interesting to note that a single human being, such as Nokodemion, or the hosts of his spirit form, are responsible for the teaching of truth, teaching of the spirit, teaching of life, and for numerous teachings on a cosmic scale. Many of his teachings, counsels, and developments have been preserved over billions of years and have found their way to the most diverse worlds. For example, the teaching of acupuncture, spiritual teachings, the teaching of symbols, and numerous socio-political principles. Social structures or measures to maintain peace, such as the multinational peacekeeping forces, etc., can be traced back to Nokodemion's advice and guidelines. Parts of his original teachings were and are still observed today in the remotest areas of world space, although Nokodemion's actual origin and true source have sometimes long been lost in the memory and traditions of the respective humanities and civilizations. Nevertheless, they have survived in tradition for billions of years. In fact, Nokodemion is and was not only responsible for this earth world. Rather, he had spread his teachings and his work over the course of billions of years to large parts of the universal world space. The fulfillment of this task and mission was only possible over an unimaginably long period of time and under the supervision of the level Arahat Athasata, as repeatedly mentioned in the books Goblet of the Truth and Nokodemion, or the history of Nokodemion, his successors and their peoples, and the predictions and prophecies of the herald of modern times, Billy. It has been fulfilling its universally unique evolutionary task for around 96 billion years. He has been active on our planet in his prophetic mission and task for around 13,500 years. However, his appearance on this earth in sevenfold form only corresponds to a very short interlude of prophetic presence. His current presence alone as a prophet of modern times, as a Billy Edward Albert Meyer, and as a unique human lives, is like a brief wink in the infinity of his task, which has lasted billions of years and is evolutionarily helpful. Nevertheless, his earthly presence is of indescribable, universe-wide uniqueness and of great importance, despite his inconspicuous nothingness on a cosmic scale in the body of an Earth's humanity. It is also inconceivable that Nokodemion only worked a few times in a prophetic function as a herald, that is to say, prophet of a creative teaching over a period of many billions of years, and in this proportion, but otherwise mastered his evolution thousands of times as a completely ordinary human being, and only rarely stood out through special or extraordinary abilities or tasks. Even if he fulfilled his task in a prophetic mission for thousands of years, these years are only a small fraction of the billions of years that he returned from the plane of Arahat in voluntary fulfillment of his duty to work in his teaching function. The human beings of planet Earth, and also of other worlds, have received invaluable help in their development of consciousness and overall evolution through the guidance and assistance of a true prophet. According to the creative destiny, however, this prophet will also one day enter the path of his own transience again, and with his passing away, as the last of 7 authoritative heralds on this, our world, will end a prophetic task and mission on this earth that has lasted several thousand years. So let us use and honor the prophet's unique teachings in the service of our own development and evolution. Ultimately, constant and continuous learning, the study of spiritual teachings as well as our own searching and research, the cultivation of interpersonal relationships, the recognition of creative laws and commandments, their implementation and application in our own lives, is the only fruitful and true way to form our own consciousness in order to become truly human beings and to tread a creatively evolutionary path in true love and freedom, in harmony and peace.